beautiful. Help definitely would have come for you in terms of getting the stress away, building your mental health is the focus this morning. So don't wander too far from your radio, or rather, go close to the radio or hold it close to you. Just pick what you want to do this morning, but just stay with us now. I've got a guest in here who you would meet right now, but these days, as a result of the growing demand of issues that have to do with survival, family issues, academic issues, we hear issues of my mental health is messed up. It's now becoming people before they plead guilty these days might even plead mental health. So we need to begin to get a better grasp of this issue of mental health. People, do they really abuse it as a concept? Let's find out shortly as we begin to explore building a resilient communities, promoting mental health awareness, and we would begin to zero the conversation to look at men. Men, we've got you covered this morning, so stay very close to your radio. That said, the table is set for us to make welcome Praise Esor, mental health professional, Life After Abuse Foundation. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning. Good. I actually feel so good to be here. Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Praise Esor, and I am a mental health professional. I work with Life After Abuse Foundation. And today we have a very important topic to discuss, which is building community resilience and promoting mental health awareness. So I would start by letting us in as to the actual definition of mental health, because I see a lot of people, they have this misconception about the definition of mental health. Some people do not really understand what mental health actually is. So mental health is a mental state of well-being which enables us, individuals, to cope with life stresses, to actualize our potentials, realize our abilities, and of course, contribute positively to the society or the community. Most times when people hear mental health, what comes to mind is, when someone walk up to you and tell you, I'm having mental health issues, I'm having this, I'm having that, what people think is the person is gradually going crazy, the person is mad, this person has schizophrenia. Please, it doesn't mean that the person is crazy or the person is mad. Everyone is allowed to go through a mental health breakdown due to so many factors. So we need to normalize the fact that people can break down at any point due to several factors.
But this, if you play back the tapes, not years ago, we don't find issues where people who ordinarily you would say, this young person, how many things do you have on your mind that you should be talking about mental health? What do you even know? What have you seen in life? Usually would come as a reaction. So talk to us about how the demands have piled up upon us with in terms of modern society as it is right now, that is making more persons accept or fall down or break down mentally.
See, these days, the quest for success these days is actually a lot, and the fact that our economy is not even favorable. We have an unfavorable economy, an unfavorable situation right now that pushes people to want to achieve a lot, but they are unable to achieve all of these things, and they get to break down when they come online. In fact, social media actually display fast success. Sometimes our influencers even come on social media to display wealth and expensive wares and cars and all of that, and then the people that are actually they're actually hustling legitimately, get to feel like they are not doing so much, they're not doing enough, and most times it makes them break down. People go into depression, and then people would in fact, these days the third main language has become people's escape route. When they are not feeling themselves, when they're feeling off, when they feel that things are going south for them, they tend to because when you talk to someone, the person might make you feel less of yourself, you tend to take the escape route of suicide, and this is actually really bad. So the thing is, when we are able to destigmatize mental health issues, we would be able to come to terms with so many solutions, and we'll be able to save so many people. We'll be able to ensure that the society is a safe place. When someone comes to you and tells you, I'm going through this, the little you can do is to listen, and then allow the person express his or her thoughts and feelings, allow them express their emotion, and then you can further advise the person to seek mental health assistance, utilize mental health services.
All right, so praise. There's also the issue beyond economic stress. We've seen people who outwardly, if we look at them, we tend to feel when we hear the breakdown mentally now, we look at what could have amounted to this. Because from all the criteria to judge a successful person, you would find they tick all the boxes. They have a job, they look happy, they're married. So, what else beyond the economic issues now could be the trigger for mental health breakdown?
I mean, sometimes you might see someone so successful, like you just said. I mean, sometimes people commit to so many things at a time simultaneously. They want to do so many things in their quest for success. And in the long run, they find themselves not being able to do everything. Or even when they're able to do everything, they still want to do more. Some people are overly ambitious and they want to actualize all of their dreams, all of their potentials, every goal that they've set for themselves. And when they're unable to actualize all of these things, they tend to break down. Especially men, our society expects men to take on instrumental roles of provision. And because men are saddled with this responsibility, when they are unable to meet up this responsibility, they tend to break down. Even when they are successful, they want to ensure that their children are able to study outside the country, and they're actually comfortable here. They're very comfortable. The children can even be educated here, but they want to do more for their family. When they're unable to do this, they break down into depression. In fact, sometimes you would be so successful, and your work environment will be toxic. I mean, you have toxic colleagues, you have a toxic boss, and you're unable to navigate all of the complexities of the organization. And then you will see such a man who is going through all of these things come back home acting all okay. Why? Because the society expects a man to man up. There's this toxic masculinity of man up, bottle up your emotion. You are a man. In fact, most times when men come on social media, even successful people come on social media to talk about their problems, talk about even being abused, people would be shocked. In fact, they would begin to throw tantrums, they'll begin to throw jabs at the person. How come? How were you abused? How was a man raped? How was a man beaten by his wife? I mean, all of these things, even to marital instability, marital conflict, can actually make someone go down with mental health issues, not only the quest for success, actually.
You touched on several issues, and now in the course of this conversation, especially you talked about social pressure,
Yeah.
peer pressure. We also see that even the work environment is part of it. So, but let's go first to the family because we all belong to a family and how the family expectation, before we get to society, how can the society, family's expectation pile so much on one that it will lead to mental health breakdown?
Okay, I would like to explain this by giving an instance. Okay, a young lady goes to the university, higher institution, or a polytechnic, whichever one, and studies, and even comes out with a first class. And this, especially when the person is from a family that is not well to do, there is this high expectation. People actually think education makes you rich instantly once you are educated, once you are able to come out successfully from a BSc program, you are actually successful automatically. But education is just enlightenment. People forget this fact, especially people that are not really educated. So once a young lady like that comes out of the university, there is a lot of financial expectation from your family, especially when you're not from a well-to-do home. And when you are unable to meet all of those expectations, I mean, it would look like you failed your family, you failed yourself, and then the family begin to look at you as useless, incapable of. After all of the investment, you are still unable to bring your family out of poverty. This can lead to a mental health breakdown, and the person will begin to feel less of themselves. I mean, I've not been able to take care of rent. I've not been able to do this as much as my parents have been able to invest in me. I have not been able to help them. It can lead to a mental health breakdown, and such a person might not have anybody to talk to, because in fact, when you talk to people, they'll be like, yes, you're educated, why have you not gotten a job? Why didn't you learn a skill? Instead of them to advise you on visiting a mental health agency that can advise you in as regards career, they would rather criticize you for not being successful, and this can lead to so many mental health issues as much as depression.
Okay, so that's where we just rested a bit, but we'd like to the listeners should know at this point you can be part of this conversation. It's very important we hear what you have to say. The topic this morning: building resilient communities, promoting mental health, focus also paying attention to men's mental health matters. So let's get your thoughts on to 0809 That's where you can send us a WhatsApp message. And of course, we would like to read those also on 0809 We'll also be reading, getting your calls on that number. That's WhatsApp calls only on 0809 So just get your thoughts in order as we get ready. And we understand that you can also be speaking with Praise Esor as she shares light into the conversation now. So for men, let's get back to the cultural background where men are raised. From the day a man begins to crawl, or from the day he's born and that first cry is heard, it said that if he begins to crawl and he wants to stand, he falls in the home. The next thing they said, "Hey, stand! You don't cry." You see, it's immune in it already. So how can we begin to break such a mold we've been cast into as men, that it's just fine, as men, to cry even when we feel hurt?
Very important, actually. Thank you so much for that. The thing is, I actually wonder most times when I hear people say, "Man up, why are you crying? Why can't you take care of this yourself?" Because why would you expect a particular category of human not to voice out when you know that everyone has emotion? Why are they immune to mental health issue when you know everyone has emotion? Everyone has emotion. That means they are bound to express that emotion. They are bound to have an emotional breakdown at some point. So why then would you think that some set of human would actually be immune to mental health breakdown? That's totally wrong. That's the more reason why we need to destigmatize this orientation that we already have. Most times, because the society actually expects men to man up, men tend to, bottle up their emotion and want to deal with stuff themselves. In fact, most times sometimes we see so many men in beer parlors taking alcohol, and what comes to mind is he's trying to unwind. Probably his men likes to take alcohol. No, sometimes most of them are taking alcohol to suppress whatever they are going through. I mean, why would you come home and feel all downcasted in presence of your family? That's what they feel. Why can't they take care of things themselves? The fact that the society expects them to man up makes them continue in that toxic masculinity. So the little we can do as individuals for men is to encourage them to speak up. When you see a male friend of yours, going through a prolonged sadness, talk to them about it. Ask questions. What is it that you are going through? Sometimes the signs are there, but we fail to look at this sign. We fail to notice the sign. When someone is going...
So just a moment, we'll just quickly on the other side, it would get us to the signs we look out for.
Yes.
It's very important. So we know the signs, and then we can begin to approach it. It's still Smooth 98.1 FM. It's Lagos Talks 981. It's a special as we get on to building resilient communities, promoting mental health awareness, and special focus on the men this morning. Is what it's all about. Stay tuned, because we've got your calls to take on 0809 That's for WhatsApp, and of course, leave your messages there.
Listening to the Smooth Breakfast.
Yeah. Love life.
Hey, it just feels good.
98.4. Smooth.
Where's the call coming from? You can't get calls. So, but messages can come in, right?
Yeah, so WhatsApp.
And find your new experience. Play a roulette and see if Lady Luck is on your side. Land winning combinations in slots and hit the jackpot. Discover much more games on OneXBet. Register on OneXBet with promo code CasinoNG and get a welcome package up to 700,000 naira plus 150 FS. Place a bet on the casino and earn a chance to win. Hurry up, your luck is waiting for you where fortune awaits. OneXBet. Bet responsibly. 18 plus only. Build a fine water shield cement not confirm.
Oh, welcome, sir. Sir, we are set to begin the foundation.
Everything set?
Everything, sir. We have the estimates for the granite, the sand, the iron rods, the concrete blocks, the cement, the...
Wait, engineer. What cement are you planning to use?
Oh, the normal cement, sir.
The normal cement?
Yes, sir.
You know the area is waterlogged and you say normal cement? Have you not heard of Water Shield? The new waterproof cement by Lafarge, designed to protect buildings from water damage and water damage to your property. If you're building in a waterlogged area, then your best bet is the new Water Shield cement by Lafarge. Water Shield is the waterproof, high-strength cement expertly formulated for all interior and external use in waterlogged areas. End water damage to your property.
Make your evening drive home nice and smooth with your radio as company. The smooth drive home on 98.1 gives you the flavor you crave for.
On your radio.
A slice of great radio programming, information to keep you up to date, and music for your listening pleasure.
As you're about to go home.
All you ever need for that journey home. The Smooth Drive on Smooth 98.1. Every weekday from 4 p.m.
You are listening to the Smooth Breakfast right here on Smooth 98.1.
We're Smooth 98.1 FM. It's back to the conversation. Praise Esor, mental health professional, Life After Abuse Foundation, still with us and helping us get a better sense of what mental health is all about and how you can cope with it. How you can begin to seek for help is also very important before you break down and lose it all entirely. So before now, you're just going to tell us now, let's get to the signs, because there should be signs of cracks somewhere
Of course.
before we see the full breakdown. So talk to us about signs.
So moving on with the sign, I mean, most times the signs are there, but because we are not enlightened enough to notice this sign, to recognize the signs, we get to, I mean, neglect the person until when it is at its critical stage. I mean, sometimes you would see a family member, a friend, a loved one going through prolonged sadness as long as 2 weeks. This person used to be lively, all bubbling, talking to you, or the person usually message you at least 5 times in a week, and the person is suddenly not messaging you, and all that comes to your mind is the person probably wants to snub you. No, something might be wrong. Or even in your home, even in the family, I mean, you know that this person is one that is actually vocal, someone that loves to, communicate, someone that is really, really friendly, very social, and then all of a sudden the person is isolating him or herself, and you are not seeing anything wrong. That's totally bad. And most times, I mean, for men, most times you see this sign in irritability, unnecessary anger. You should know that that person is going through something. It could be pressure from work. I mean, probably the workplace is toxic, and then you are actually seeing this person come back and transferring unnecessary aggression. I mean, just little talk would lead to so much flare up, and you are not paying attention. What we need to do at that point is sit the person down, ask question: what could be wrong? What is going on? Or even someone that loves to sing, someone that loves to dance in the home, someone that loves to do certain things is suddenly withdrawing from what they enjoy doing. Suddenly withdrawing from what they used to enjoy doing, and you are not really paying attention. That's a lot for you not to pay attention to. That's a whole lot. Or someone that does not like to take alcohol suddenly comes back home drunk. Suddenly comes back home looking all stressed, tired, and and you are not paying attention, you are not asking questions. Those are the signs. The signs are usually there. Or sudden isolation. Someone that used to prioritize social connection, social support, is suddenly not going out anymore, suddenly not talking to you anymore.
So because that's the point you made now, withdrawal. So there's this talk about, I want to be alone, I want my space. So when do we really know how that, look, this person really wants space, and how, look, you want your space, but sorry, you can't have your space? How do we do that not to even get that? Because that in itself can lead to this irritability you talked about.
Sometimes When someone tells you, I want my space, of course, we can all want our space at some point. We want to reflect on certain things. I mean, when it becomes prolonged, when someone keeps telling you, don't come to me, I don't want to talk, I want my space. The next day you want to initiate a conversation, no, I want my space. The next week the person is telling you, I want my space. Please, this obviously calls for attention. You need to pay attention. Something is obviously wrong with the person. Something is going on, because sometimes we want our space. Yes, not everyone wants people around them. Oftentimes sometimes this person is this kind of a person. You already understand that. But when that person is a social person, someone that loves to talk, someone that loves to communicate, and the person is suddenly saying, I want my space, and it goes on and on like that for 2 weeks, that's a lot already.
You're looking at a timeline now.
Yeah.
You're giving now. So 2 weeks is a length, but there are personalities. We could say, people say you could have what you call extrovert and introvert in itself. So one is all going out. How do you navigate that one who naturally is not all outgoing? How do we get to navigate such a person who might also be going through something like a mental health breakdown?
No matter how,
Well, this person is always a withdrawn person. It's not social.
no matter how introverted you are, no matter how much you love your space, you have families. I mean, I think the family plays a major role in recognizing this sign. You already know that this person is an introvert. This person doesn't really love to voice out or talk. But you see, the person that used to smile, at least, no matter how introverted you are, you would still smile. You would still talk at some point. You cannot be all or entirely quiet like that. And then you see, you initiate a conversation, and then you even as much as crack a joke, and the person is not even smiling. The person is all moody. The person, in fact, sometimes this mental health signs is as much as physical signs. You'd see the person experiencing appetite disorder. The person does not want to eat. I mean, you would give somebody food, and then in the next minute, the food is still there. I'm not hungry. All over again, all over, on and on like that. That alone is a sign. Even if the person is not someone that is vocal, as much as the person does not eat again, does not talk to you, wouldn't even smile at you. If it's your spouse, a female, would not even smile at you, or your husband would just come. As much as he doesn't really talk, at least he would say hello. He would eat his food. He would smile at least. When that is not coming forth at all, there is obviously a problem, even with introverted individuals.
Now, let's flip the coin. There's also been cases where we've seen people who've had this breakdown mentally, and by the time people around looked, we said, come on, we didn't see, there were no sign. These persons were able to cover it so well. Yes, now you talked about, oh, they would smile, at least they would eat. This one, they would smile. They would have, the next thing we hear, like, what? This was just the person who was just down here making sure everyone was happy, that everyone had something to eat, looking out for people. But yet, what happened? How did we miss it?
The more reason why we have to pay attention. We have to, when you are having conversation with someone, at some point, no matter how reserved the person is, the person would at least let out at least a little problem to you, even if it is indirectly, like, okay, hi, I'm actually fine. Like you say, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. How is work? Fine, just that my boss, I've been having a hard time with my boss, but I'm fine. The person might not tell you, I'm having serious issues, this is taking a toll on my mental health, I'm actually feeling depressed. No, the person has just let you in a little. So when we pay attention to even the little details in our conversation, we are able to understand when someone is about to have a serious or even a minor mental health breakdown. When we pay attention to details like this, we'll be able to tell before it gets to its critical stage.
So we should begin to move towards, seeking for help now. Let's go to how, now we've looked at the signs. We now know what this is about, how we should begin to pay attention to little details now. But let's go on to how it feels like when people see it this way, coming out from, go see a psychologist or a shrink to help you get your mental health back, and you begin to discuss it with people, and they tell you, we don't see it in a way that it looks like a normal thing to say. Now we know you have a mental health breakdown, and you tell someone you need to see a specialist. How do you prepare someone, or the reaction that gets you eventually?
I think this it all boils down to our orientation. The more reason why this advocacy is going on, to educate people, to enlighten people, that when someone tells you, I'm going to see a psychologist, I'm going to see a social worker, it does not depict the fact that the person is going crazy. It might just be a minor mental health breakdown. That's why we need to enlighten people that someone with mental health issue is not a mad person. Someone with mental health issue is not experiencing hallucination. Someone with mental health issue is not seeing things, hearing voices. When people are enlightened, we start with enlightenment, even to social media. When people are enlightened about these issues, they'll be able to normalize mental health breakdown. People to see it as normal that anybody can break down. Even to workplace, when I feel public and private organizations are actually encouraging mental health breakdown, because when they are able to prioritize work-life balance is something that we actually do not prioritize in most organizations. Some people do not take breaks, some do not take sick leave, some do not even some do not even prioritize exercises, some do not prioritize even recreational activities. All they want to do is have you work and work. When we do not prioritize it, it starts from workplace. And aside that, we need to break the stigma by enlightening people that anybody can actually break down at any point. When people understand this, even to people that are not really educated, not so educated, when they're able to understand that anybody can break down, prolonged sadness can depict mental health issues. When you tell them, I'm going to see a psychologist, I'm going to see a social worker, they would understand that, oh, okay, this person is actually having a downtime, not necessarily madness, not necessarily suicidal thoughts, not necessarily depression. So that's basically it.
So let's register this now, because it's part of the awareness and the enlightenment we're engaging in as we have this conversation. So let's look at it from this angle. So it's okay to have a mental health breakdown. There's no shame in it. It is okay also to go see a specialist. That's okay, no stigma about it. So let's move on to how we can now get people to get support. The existence of support systems where people, they know that there is a place to go to if these issues, they begin to notice it. That's what I'd like us to spend the next time, moments now, begin to talk about. But that will be on the other side, because we know we've got a few messages in already. I see one already. Pastor Dapo sent in a message already. Let's make sure you get yours across. We apologize, we can't get the calls in this morning, but just make sure you leave us a message, and Praise would be getting to address some of the issues you raise in the messages you send across onto 0809 444 0981. That's where we love to read all the messages. We're also streaming live on youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. And now just stay tuned with Smooth 98.1, and you're on to Lagos Talks 981.
Stay tuned, stay locked right here on Smooth 98.1.
98.1.
It's a short one, it's a very short break, so we're back very soon. No
Meals
time.
have a way of taking
I
us
would
on
have
a
loved to
journey,
get one
and when
song
you add
out.
plenty of vegetables like a
Roll
fork
call.
and seasoned with the rich taste of non-seasoning cubes, even better. So go ahead and elevate your meals
I wanna get a
with
song
more
out.
vegetables and the rich taste of
know.
no cubes. Today, eat for good.
You are listening to the Smooth Breakfast right here on Smooth 98.1.
Ready. We're Smooth 98.1 FM, 29 minutes before it is 10 o'clock. Still got a guest in here, Praise Esor, helping us get a sense of mental health and what we can do to destigmatize it when people you know or who you feel you're just too young now. What are you thinking that you feel you have mental health? What have you seen in life? So we registered now. That's not the approach any longer. Don't tell people that
Of course.
what do you know, what have you seen in life that you are talking of mental health. So now let's get down to this. Links us to support system. How do we find support systems, and how can support system help people begin to come out of mental health cycles?
Okay, so the thing is, they say charity begins at home, right? Sometimes you do not even have to take your problems outside as much as it is necessary. You do not have to, when your family members, your friends, your loved ones are able to tell that something is wrong, or even if they are not able to tell, you as someone that wants to help yourself, you can consider talking to someone, talk to a friend, talk to a family members about all you are going through. I mean, they can have one or two solutions. In fact, talking is even therapy. You might not get the solution from the person, but you just talking might just give you this relief, at least for a while, give you this relief, and it helps you feel that someone is there for you. It helps you feel safe. It helps you feel that you have this social support. And aside that, when sometimes people have issues talking to familiar people, they feel when they talk about their problems, it would go out. People would take it on, put it on social media, talk to people about it. So they always frown against talking about their problems with familiar faces. That is why we have mental health agencies. Right now, you do not even have to visit a mental health agency face to face. We have them on social media. We have them so many mental health agencies are online that you can even call hotlines. You can talk to people. And most times people shy away from therapy because they feel it is so expensive. Like, if I have so much money, I won't be having this problem. If I have so much money, why I would not be going through depression. My problem is money. You are telling me to go seek therapy when you know that I do not have money. How do I pay? In fact, these days, I think we now prioritize mental health to an extent. It's now better than how it used to be, to the point that people are making it affordable. Agencies are making it affordable. Some might even decide, if the situation is critical, they might decide to even offer a free therapy session for you. It has become that good right now. So, I mean, people should not shy away from seeking mental health assistance whenever they're experiencing any breakdown. You can call, you can give a call, you can go on social. In fact, if you go on Google and search, you would see several of them.
Since it's still about the support system, and you touched on the family, because you know that's where it all starts, and being able to talk to someone, but then if you can't find it there, but how do we link the church? Let's establish it, or probably the church or the mosque. Can we consider them a support system for mental health issues?
Of course, we can. But the thing is, people actually refrain from seeking support from churches. Probably because sometimes some people would say the pastor might discuss this on the altar. The pastor might use me as an example. I do not want to be used as an example. I do not want my problems to be all everywhere. I don't want people to know about this. That is why we often advise people to seek help from mental health professionals, because confidentiality is key as a professional. So you know that whatever details you are disclosing is actually safe, and you would always get coping solutions.
Now, because I raised that, you see, there's the issue that there's also the need to counter mental health issues, because let's go from this point where now the mental health starts in a way, the withdrawal, what that you talked about, then from withdrawal, not addressed on time, still in the same environment, toxic, whether marriage, workplace, then eventually you see someone now gets depressed, and then from depression, then eventually drifting towards that lone road where it might be too late to get them to come back, and that lone road might just be ending in suicide, which is not what people recommend, because there should be help. No life should be taken. No one should die by suicide, especially because you can come out of it if you talk to people. But I say this now to link us to religion, where it can be said, so mental health issues, or if it had got into depression, can become spiritual, and that's a way to address it. But here you're the professional. Speak to me about that, and if there's a myth around it or a misconception.
I think there is no spirituality to mental health as much as people believe this. People always say they've casted a spell on him. I think there's no spirituality linked to this, because all of the issues that causes this problem are actually glaring. We can see them. When someone is going through depression as a result of a toxic workplace, and then nobody pays attention to the point that they begin to become depressed and they are acting all abnormal, and then you begin to link it to spirituality, that so probably the person has been charmed.
We see mental health also in schools. Students also they claim mental health issues too in school. So when we talk about workplace, let's add the school.
Of course. Yeah. Even with primary school students. What
does the primary school student hope you know seeing in life?
I mean, we'll fail to understand that everyone does not have the same mental intelligence ability. Not everyone has that, and sometimes teachers fail to understand this, and they get to expect so much from everyone, feeling that you can actually do this. Why can't this person do this? Why are you not doing it? And you will see them use abusive words. You see them say, why are you dumb? Why are you not smart like this person? Why are you like this? Why can't you do all that this person is doing? That alone can lead to depression, even for young children. They'll begin to withdraw because they already feel they are not good enough. You've already told them to their faces that you are not good enough. You are not like the rest of your peers. You are not, and that alone can make them withdraw. In fact, can even make them worse academically, because that fear that you have imputed into them, you've infused fear into them, and then when they want to even attempt to do that thing, they are unable to do it at all because you already said they cannot do it. You already made them understand that they are not good enough. They can't do it. Even in universities, most times when people are unable to meet up certain academic target that they've set for themselves, and there's nobody to talk to you, there's nobody to even offer help, there's nobody to tell you. Instead of
we've read of cases on the news where students have taken their lives, and that's it. Even students who have written JAM and probably not gotten a certain score, or probably secondary school, maybe SSC. I've read of those cases, and you wonder how we got to this point.
I think one thing is parents contribute to this, because they are unable to understand that if education is not working for this person, it does not mean that the person is going to be unsuccessful. I mean, people have made it with vocational skills. People have. I mean, we need to know that even if the person is not really good academically, they can be good with vocational skills. So when your child is not really really having it, really doing well academically, you can consider vocational skill acquisition. You can consider it, and you see the person doing really well. And aside that, the fact that so many schools do not prioritize mental health, they are unable to employ mental health professionals into their schools. Sometimes all a child needs is encouragement. All a child needs is someone to talk to when they fail the first semester or the first term. Someone calls them, okay, probably it might even be playfulness. Someone calls them, your results didn't really turn out well this semester. What went wrong? When there is a counselor available, they can even help them understand how well to study, or the right way to study techniques, and that can even help.
Now, this brings me back to the home front, and because when men would return home, well, this is not to say women don't undergo mental stress, but we're just trying to make sure that men should also be brought into the picture. That's why I'm raising this right now. So how does this connect for one how can a spouse help a man who's undergoing such a down moment, to make it out? What sort of behavior you think, action or approach should the spouse take?
Okay, sometimes when your husband comes back from work and he has gone through a lot, and probably he's not talking. When he's not talking, you can actually engage in conversation. This person did not even eat. What's going on? You can talking is therapy. It cannot be overemphasized. Talking a lot can actually disclose so many problems. Talking to the person calmly about it, instead of or probably their financial expectations that the person has to meet, and the person is unable to meet these expectations, and the next thing the wife does is to begin to throw jabs. Why are you like this? Why could you not sort out this issue? Why have you not paid the children's school fee? You're supposed to ask questions. What is going on in your workplace? What is it that is going on around you? Are you in debt? What is going on? That way, you can even talk to family members that can even help financially. Instead of throwing jabs, like, why are you like this? What's going on? In fact, sometimes when this goes on and on, when spouses are unable to understand that they have to talk to the person, it can even lead to domestic abuse. It can lead to domestic violence. Before you know it, you are hearing of a case of domestic violence in the home, in the family. Because
so how can lowering or resetting expectation in the home front help a man get to lower his stress level and mental health instead of running into mental health issues?
I think it all boils down to our understanding of life itself. Sometimes we set goals and it doesn't go that route. We're unable to actualize everything or nothing at all. The thing that you at that point, what you should do is think, reflect. Sometimes we fail to live in our moment. You have actually said you want to get a job. You've gotten the job. You've heard of your colleague. You've heard of your friend that is actually earning more. And then you're like, why am I earning this low? I can actually earn this. When we are able to live in our moments, we're able to reflect on our achievements. We'll be able to see that we're actually making progress. And even if it is a slow progress, we're making progress. When we fail to live in our moments, when we commit to too much, we tend to break down most times. So sometimes when you have achieved A and you've achieved B rather, and you want to achieve A, calm down and reflect. I was once on C, but look at me on B. I've been able to achieve this goal. Reflect. When we're able to live in our moments, when you set a goal and you've achieved it, you've not even celebrated yourself, you're setting another one again, you would obviously be depressed. You are human. You will obviously be depressed. But when you set a goal and you actualize it and you celebrate it, and in fact you allow people to celebrate it with you, before you know it, you're thinking of another one. You're happy. But when you set goals, too many taxes for yourself, even to taxes that are enjoyable, you would not even enjoy them because you see everything as a serious tax. You see everything as a work. You see everything that as something that you need to actualize by all means. But when you are living in your moment, when you are celebrating yourself, even to your little wins, even when families are able to celebrate our little wins, you would see us progressing. The society would obviously be a safe place for everyone.
All right. So we just come back on the other side to conclude this conversation, and you just drop a very big nugget there. Celebrating the moment, live in the moment, and just be human and just breathe. Calm down. That's the word again. You just threw in there. Calm down. But I've got a Pastor Dapo who sent in a message, and if it's related to this conversation, he raised the issue of schizophrenia there in it's a terrible psychotic mental health disease which attention should be paid to. You know how people begin to see things around and all of that, not frivolously discarded. Yes, so thanks for raising that, but I'll raise that with praise on the other side. You're listening to Smooth 98.1 FM and you're on to Lagos Talks 981. Get your messages before we leave on the show across to 0809 444 0981.
Love life. Smooth 98.1.
What it is? Build a fort, but I should cement not confirm.
Oh, welcome, sir. Sir, we are set to begin the foundation.
Everything set?
Everything, sir. We have the estimates for the granite, the sand, the iron rods, the concrete blocks, the cement,
Wait, engineer. What cement are you planning to use?
Oh, the normal
So you
cement.
got any final
The normal
words
cement?
you would like to
You
put
know
in
the
and all
area
of
is
that?
waterlogged
So
and
if
you
you
say
do,
normal
that's what
cement?
we're going to wrap
Have
up
you
on
not
that
heard
one.
of Water
That's what we're
Shield?
going to
The
close. So we're
new
almost at the
waterproof
end of the
cement
show
by
already.
Lafarge,
Just a
designed
few
to
minutes
protect
go.
buildings from water damage and water damage to your property. If you're
I will
building in a
I'll
waterlogged
just
area,
conclude
then
with
your
possible
best bet
solutions.
is the
Problems.
new Water Shield cement by Lafarge. Water Shield is the waterproof, high-strength cement expertly formulated for all interior and external use in waterlogged areas.
Build a fort, but I should cement not confirm.
End water damage to your property.
Press 1 for all your entertainment stories.
The buzz, the rumors, the big stories. Spice up your day with some entertainment on the Smooth Breakfast Show.
One of the greatest, ain't no debate, no.
We've got your top trending stories from the entertainment scene on the front burner. It's movies, fashion, music, and everything in between. Tune in to The Grapevine and keep up with the Smooth Paparazzi as we bring you up to speed with the latest in the world of entertainment. The Grapevine, every Tuesday and Thursday from 8:15 a.m.
This is Frank Donna, and you're listening to Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life.
Bye-bye. We're Smooth 98.1 FM, 13 minutes before it's 10 o'clock, and we're gradually coming to the end of our Lagos Talks 981. Very engaging conversation this morning, and on a very, very salient issue that people would tend to overlook as man up, maybe woman up, suck it up, and face life. That's what it is. But hey, those little things you say and how you intend people to brush off issues may just be the reason why they're sinking deeper into the stew of the issues of the moment. There's always a way into it as we all react differently to issues. But I return to praise Esor as we, in the final moment of this conversation, let's get to conclude with some possible solution now on the need, because you talked on celebrating living in the moment. But in this part of the world, people most times, because of the demands, whether from the home front, whether from the academic point of view for a student, then even at work, there is this tendency that you ask a man or a woman, when was the last time you took out time from work, away, vacation? Where's the place for recreation in helping to reset the mental clock of a human being?
I think this is where work-life balance comes in. Most times we want to do these things. We want to engage in recreational activities. We want a break, but our workplace is not permitting us to. That is why both public and private organizations have to prioritize work-life balance. Sometimes you can have all of these recreational activities even in the workplace. If you set aside Friday for recreational activities, that's not so bad. Or you prioritize exercises, or you ensure that your employees take breaks off work. That would do a lot for them.
Oh, employees can you say, hey, stop, go and play and come. Oh, that would be nice.
I mean, if even to 1 hour break,
yeah,
30 minutes break is enough. Of
so
course.
that means also they should also be able to check up and see and enforce that you should. It's break time.
Yeah.
Leave that off and
Yes.
go for it.
Exactly. And when you as an employee, when you are asked to take a break and you are not done with your work,
You
please
said we
take
should
away.
multitask. What if they take
Please,
off that break and they go?
When you are not done with your work, please leave that work. When you die, someone else will come take that place. Leave that work and take that break. Sleep. Have that rest.
You talked about sleep now. What's sleep got to do with mental health?
I mean, sleep is a way of rejuvenating. Is a way of relaxing, easing yourself off this day's stress. When you sleep, you wake up refreshed. So when you come back from work and you are not done with work and you want to continue, you are heading towards a serious mental breakdown, because sleep is very important. You can't cheat nature. So let's try to sleep. And when we have issues, talk to people around you. Talk to your loved ones. When you do not feel safe enough, or when you don't want to talk to familiar faces, talk to a mental health professional about it. Talk to them. There are so many of them online. There is even Life After Abuse Foundation. They are available. Talk to them.
We'll get to a number where you can leave so people can reach out if they see this. But I guess, can stress and mental breakdown lead to this point where Pastor Dakpo had raised schizophrenia, where you begin to hear and probably see forms as a can this lead?
Of course.
Is there a connection?
Yes, because when we see the signs, the minor signs, like I mentioned earlier, we see the signs, we do not recognize the signs, or we neglect the signs. Sometimes we see the sign, we recognize the sign, but we choose to neglect because we have our own lives to live. everybody should take care of their things themselves. They should be able to take care of their affairs themselves. When we see the signs, we neglect the signs, and the person goes on and on like that without seeking help, without finding help. It can get to the critical stage that the person begins to hear voices, person begins to see things, and person begins to talk to him or herself. That way, you begin to see the person on the streets.
So it just shows that by the time it gets to the streets, it shows that we fail to
Exactly.
connect the dots. That's why we see
Exactly.
people like that.
Exactly.
So it's on this note we'll leave it, but you need to leave us with a number, especially what your foundation is doing and how you can help people begin to get help. So that's a mental health professional life after abuse. You've got a number, yes, and
Yeah.
so someone listening can have it.
Life After Abuse Foundation is focused on helping men, raising men's mental health awareness, because most times men are neglected because of this toxic masculinity orientation of man up. You should have it all figured out. You should be able to take care of your problems yourself. So we noticed this negligence on men's mental health, and that was why we decided to pay attention to men's mental health by bringing about advocacy, enlightening people that men have emotion and all of that.
We appreciate it. Praise, thank you for looking out for us men. At least we see this.
Exactly.
Can we have a
and
number?
You can connect with us on all social media platforms, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even LinkedIn at Life After Abuse Foundation. LAF, LAAF, LAF, Life After Abuse Foundation. Thank you.
All right, that's where we leave the conversation. We want again thank you, Praise Esor, for taking our time to come speak to us about it, and for also picking out men to say, look, men, I've got you covered.
My pleasure.
And that's how we leave it here. My name is Omatseye Atsenuwa. Still with you up until 11, and we get the conversation going with Smooth 98.1 FM.